Hey everybody, welcome to yet another episode of The Shade's Tale, which is an Ironclaw 2nd edition actual play game. Let's start by introducing our returning band of adventurers, starting with Theta. Theta, tell us about your character and personality, goals, and motto. There you go.
I'm Harmon, a donkey soldier. My personality is relentless. My motto is I am stronger. My goal is to send a message to the Syndicate. I also have the goal of capture Rodolfo and turn him into the Abattoir Justice, which I believe we failed because he got away.
Yeah, we're tweaking that particular goal. I think we decided on the language, which was just deal with Rodolfo. So yeah, if you want to, you can swap that out. Apparently now there are multiple people who are after Rodolfo, but we'll cover that in the recap.
I mean, it was deal with Rodolfo. We could have just let him get away. That would have been a deal with Rodolfo.
You have a strange
Up to
definition
interpretation.
of
Well,
dealing in like
deal is
not
a
my
deal.
problem, walk it away. All right. Well, next up we have Arcloyd. Arcloyd, tell us about your character.
I am Arcloyd. I am playing Connor Lever de Egravis, the Brazen Raccoon Knight. His goals are to send a message to the Syndicate and to deal with Rodolfo. And his motto is one hand washes the other.
All right. Next up we have Griffin.
Hey everybody, I'm playing the anonymous local doctor and Armadillo Almoner. Gosh, that's hard to say 5 times fast in the morning. His motto is first do no harm, second get paid.
All right. And then we have Rafferty.
Hello world, yes, I'm Rafferty. Today I am playing Anushka, the Microbat Messenger, where my motto is know no fear and serve with joy. And yes, I also have the motto of deal with Rodolfo. I am the one who has to come back and report to my, well, not to my shame, because I'm an effervescent type of person. I'm not the kind of show shame. I attempted to capture the Craven Malefactor and failed.
Indeed. And it was an epic battle. So let's recount that battle. We're going to do just a brief recap here. Last session, you all had been tasked with, by Colette, the abbess of Harmony. You had been tasked with going south to the town of Tuskdun, owned by the Lysaemon II Stoat family, who are loyal to the Doloro, because it had... this individual Rodolfo had been sighted there. Rodolfo, you're pretty sure, was the cognoscente responsible for the attacks on the signal towers that first brought you to this part of the world to begin with. So when you got down to Tuskdun, you guys did a little bit of investigation. Harmon was closed out of the city gates and found himself befriending a small mouse woman named Nell. And later her current house guest, a very large, gigantic horse named Hugo. The rest of you guys who made it inside of the town did a little bit of investigation and found out that Rodolfo is the guest of the Lysaemon II family, and you guys got yourselves an invitation to a dinner party for intellectuals and nobility in the town. And after talking with the head of the Lysaemon II, old cadre stoat named Borneo, you guys got yourselves invited because you said that you had something to talk about that might end the border conflicts that are occurring between the Doloro and the Avoirdupois. Along the way, you collected a bard calling herself Sly Flora, a fox bard who is currently sort of being patronized by Connor. And you guys made it into the party where you had a one-on-one conversation with Borneo that turned into a chase sequence with Rodolfo. Once he discovered that you guys were onto him, he used his mind-afflicting powers to puppeteer Borneo and then try to escape. Anushka took flight after him, and they had a struggle over the Lyore River, which ended with both of them going into the drink. Anushka used her swimming skill to escape, and then there was no sight of Rodolfo afterwards. So we're going to pick it up there. Shortly after at the party, Borneo has given you all his blessing to go through Rodolfo's quarters looking for clues to pursue him. However, his daughter B, Lysaemon II, who is who up until recently had Rodolfo as her tutor. She's squarely against this plan, and she's currently basically hounding her father and you if you do intend to do this investigation.
Okie doke.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have the perfect way to end this investigation. Harmon, remove her.
Well, unfortunately, Harmon isn't here. Harmon is still camping out in the woods.
Connor, remove her.
You dare give your lord orders?
In the name of Triskellion and the Church of Salmer and our masters, she must be removed. You don't want me to remove her.
No.
I am finally 100
Walk her
pounds. I am
way.
soaking wet.
You're finally what?
I said I'm finally 100 pounds because I'm soaking wet.
There you go. All right. A most frightful visage, this wet bat Anushka. But yeah. Covered with bites and scratches.
Well, at least the dress still looks nice.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were in party garb.
Oh my! This dress has to be totally ruined. When I hit when I struggled with him and like.
Right.
Yeah, not looking your finest.
Well, I mean, even if we have watchful eyes, we have a run of the place. So, searching seems like the thing to do.
All right. Connor will play interference with Bay, but right now the player needs to run upstairs. I will be right back.
Oh,
Okay.
All right then.
So,
I'm happy to help you toss the place. I do have some searching, as I am a bat.
So do I. I got 2d6 for searching. What about you?
Oh. Yeah, it's pretty much what I got.
Okay. So, I mean, we're both kind of equally on the level.
Then the goofy thing is you should assist me because you're a team player.
I'm not a team player, but thank you.
Not
Thank you,
anymore.
I'm so nice.
Oh, well,
Yeah, his last character was
I'll just
pour one out for Gaston.
You only have a mind die of D6. You're supposed to be smart. You're a doctor.
Well, I think of myself more as an encouraging person. I talk people through their terrible illnesses until they get better or die, and when they get better, I say I did it.
So you have a will die of D8 or better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. At least you can appeal to the emotion. At least you're like...
I have a good career die.
I'm
good at my job.
Well, then I suppose you should assist me because I'm technically work for Connor, whereas you are just some random person we found on the street.
This is true. I just think this is fun.
I have one success. I would find something that anyone would find. Oh, that's an assist die.
Roll it.
I have 2 successes. I would find something 2 reasonably skilled investigators. That one reasonably skilled investigator could find, or 2 idiots. And we're not just any idiots.
Not just any idiots. You're idiots on a mission. All right. Well, so actually, the way I wanted to do this was... So we just lost Connor, which is unfortunate because
He's been poisoned.
Yeah. So as you guys are sort of led up to the room that Rodolfo has been staying in by Borneo, his daughter is basically like following you there, and she's just spouting, this is wrong, this is nonsense, there must be some mistake, you can't let this happen, father, you can't let them in there, no, I won't stand for it. And as you are tossing the room, she's going to be as much of a nuisance as she can. In this case, I think if Connor is just trying to pull rank on her, it's not going to work out well. This is, after all, their family land and their family estate. This is kind of like a seat of power.
Since when did a teenager listen to rules anyway?
Well, remember, the Connor thing to do here is to say something personally reasonable, and then add something in on the end that is complete insult
and horrifying.
Yeah, which is that's why you roll.
That's why you make the roll. Just be like, now calm down, my dear. We mean no disrespect. And if you don't let us do this, your whole family might die.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, the moral of this story is that we're gonna roll a penalty die. Not much of one, a d6 for her, but normally the successes will be 3 or more. If I roll higher than a 3, that will raise the bar for the minimum success. Here we go. And it's a 2, so it ended up not mattering. She's rather ineffectual as she just kind of stands there being like, you can't touch that. I refuse. Don't touch that. However, her father is just like, please, be silent now. It is from your actions that you've brought disgrace and allowed this to happen to us, and we will speak on it later. And that kind of mollifies her somewhat.
You mean greater than 3?
Yes, you want a 3 or more. No, you want a 4 or more. That's right.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to
greater than
say.
3. I think
Greater than 3.
Used.
Yeah, in Ironclaw, they have this notion of target numbers in the book, although it's maybe a little bit confusing, especially how like modern games tend to deal with target difficulties.
Right. I think from what Rafferty has said in the past, that used to be an older rule for Ironclaw First Edition. They kind of started moving away from it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And now
it's still technically a target number. You're shooting for default greater than 3. Certain scenarios can change that to greater than 6, or I guess greater than 5 technically, and then greater than 7. Or the easier way to understand, 8 or more, 6 or more, 4.
Right, more. Yeah, 4 or more. Right, that's probably the easier way to tackle it. Which is cool. Once again, I like it. Because it introduces, that's kind of how this system deals with penalties, right? Normally a target number is set, but if you have a penalty for some sort of external factor, you can roll and that might push it up.
Yep.
Welcome back, Anushka. So, after you guys toss the place quite thoroughly, this is what you uncover. All right, looks like we got everybody back.
The murder weapon.
Ha-ha!
It was Old Man Smithers wearing a horse
Halloween mask. Pretty much. No.
You got away with the 2 if it wasn't for your 3 dogs and your kid too.
All right. Okay. You uncover there's a bunch of papers and writing implements. He has been fashioning himself as a scholar and as a tutor. So a lot of the stuff that's sort of scattered around his apartments are writing and teaching implements. There's a lot of books and such. However, as you leaf through one particularly large tome, you find a series of letters tucked away. The first one is a small missive. It's written in a very small, neat handwriting that has been signed N. And this particular missive has, well, let's see. I just want to make sure someone here who can read is reading this, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask Anonymous, can you read?
Yes, of course I can.
All right.
In fact, I could read you this wonderful book about Salumer. Would you like me to begin?
After this.
Okay, well, after this. Well, let me read the letters.
All right. So, first letter, signed by N, is informing the the recipient that the Whisper Grove has been attacked. However, she fears that the subject's mind is degrading from this ongoing influence. It's cryptic and it's short, but something about it sticks in your mind and you tuck it away. The next letter you find is considerably more verbose. And this is what it says. To R. The goat and his rat brood request your presence for the attack on Egerberg. Egerberg? I'm going to type this in the chat and you guys can decide what you think. E-R-B-R-G.
At this point, I really like that he just doesn't know how to spell it. He's written it a couple of times. And you're literally reading Egerberg.
Egerberg. I know, right? I should
Eggberg.
know. Eggberg. Here we go.
As it shall be known in probably about 100 years where people just get tired of trying to pronounce it.
Exactly. No, beautiful. We're going with it. So, the goat and his rat brood request your presence for the attack on Eggberg. While northern troop movements have pulled some of the forces away, the Avoirdupois are smart enough to leave their remaining towers defended. I assured him that we could handle it, but perhaps due to the delay in payment, he seems to think that he can throw his weight around. I am this close to convincing him that his own tail is a salad. I relish the day our mission is complete, and I might personally inform him of his own expendability. In the meantime, I await your orders. We are currently staged at the nearest hideout to Egerberg. It is considerably less defensible, but so far we have had no unwanted visitors. I will include directions in case you wish to see to this matter in person, and it is signed simply with the letter Y. Borneo is quite disturbed by this. Please continue.
Did he use the word salad and relish?
I believe the man, we haven't had a chance to speak to Rodolfo, and at this point I'm not sure we will, but it appears he was quite fond of puns. I have to say, maybe he wasn't so bad after all.
Death is too good for him. Well, he may have perished. One thing that's keenly missing from here is the cognoscente trappings. Normally, wizards have to travel with these items because it's part of their ability to, cast sorcery. But we didn't find any of that. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
So
Weird.
yeah. And when he tried to when he was using spells back at the party, he definitely did not have a wand, a staff, or his robes, because those would have been very obvious and not fitting for the occasion.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why that was put into, speaking of bugs up their butts that designers have, game masters love to have NPC wizards and then say, you don't know he's a wizard. And it's like, well, in Ironclaw, any wizard has to have wizard crap. Can't be a wizard unless you have wizard crap.
So, can I clarify that? My understanding is that the advantages that you get from that stuff, and admittedly, like, you need it to practice your craft, but in mechanical terms, if you're talking about like whether or not you can cast things,
technically he doesn't need them.
Technically, right? Yeah.
Although technically, if he does the auto refresh thing,
which he
needs to have it.
Right. Well,
if he was any good at it, he would use it.
I just want to point out something that I had mistaken in the past, is that some of these robes, or all these robes, are very much obvious. So a black robe is not just robe that's black, but they are specifically, recognizably Black School of Magic robes.
But that's not that unusual. It just means that he is a cognoscente. They would be traveling without the crap. Somewhere in the world is his wizard crap. It's not here.
Then once a chapter, he can refresh to get them back.
I have to ask if this conversation is happening in character, or if this is above the table.
Yes, I'm shouting it from outside the walls.
Oh, this is a little bit under the table talk, but I guess we would have noticed, his stuff's not here.
It would happen in character because I would say we saw him doing sorcery. Mm-hmm. So I would have to ask, Mr. Anonymous here. It's like, he has to have wizard crap. He's a wizard.
Well, so as you guys are saying that,
but the fact he doesn't have it is kind of like annoying. So
if we just did this through proper channels and he didn't freak out in the middle of a party, we might have searched this place and then had nothing to prove it.
I mean, we found some letters that are obviously you inbred rich people doing whatever it is that you do at the expense of the commoners, but we didn't find any wizard crap or any smoking guns. We just found these weird letters addressed to Y and N. Pretty soon we're going to find letters to abort, retry, and ignore. I hate those guys so much.
Right, but if nothing else, it does prove that he was in on the conspiracy, ordered the attacks, and there is a force out there over at this location.
Well, yes.
We have it in
the authority of 2 random, unsigned, unbranded notes that he was involved.
Well, I mean, it's just like my conspiracy thriller book.
The one that you're writing?
The one that I'm writing.
This is why I never learned how to read. Reading
it's this shit.
So
Oh,
yeah,
right.
so that's what we'll have to turn into Connor. It's like, well, here are your notes. Once again, I don't know if because Rodolfo was a bat, which means he doesn't know how to swim. I only know how to swim because I learned under fire,
Mm-hmm.
under duress.
Mhm.
So he may have perished beneath the sea, but he may not, unless we can get someone who talks to the spirits or dredge the ocean. He might turn up again. Who knows?
Well,
Once again, I apologize for my failings.
do we have a sample of his handwriting?
So you have 2 samples of handwriting that are different. So each of the letters is written in a different hand.
Well, didn't he?
This
perhaps
is a
leave
letter to
journal?
him, which is why he's in possession of it.
Right, but he might have written a note that we just need a sample of his handwriting. It doesn't have to be an important sample.
Yes, yeah.
but
Actually,
something
this
that
place
we can
is
mystically trace him.
this place is actually littered with that stuff.
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah, so he's been acting as the tutor to B, and so there's samples of notes that he has written and sort of like diagrams and letters. He was teaching her all kinds of things. So yeah, you have definitely plenty of samples, and based on that, I will point out that neither of these letters looks to be written by him, and is likely that he is just the recipient of each of them.
Well, the reason I ask is we can possibly use a locating spell to find him based on the sample of his handwriting.
I don't think we can find a sample of his handwriting. We need something that's personally his.
Hmm.
I mean, it's
Well,
a reach, and it doesn't matter anyway, since none of you know how to cast locating spells.
we can hire somebody. We have plenty of money.
In
At least I
theory,
do.
we're in the middle of nowhere.
Didn't you bite him? Didn't you bite him?
I did, but I also afterwards fell into the freaking lake.
Right, but you didn't keep your mouth open while you were about to drown, did you? You held
Mhm.
your breath. So maybe you have hair stuck in your teeth? I mean, everybody gets hair stuck in their teeth.
And then after I got out of the drink, I spent a copious amount of time purging myself of the dirty water.
Yeah.
No. There's a specific ability in the game you can get to bite people to get synthetic with them, and I don't have that.
It's very vampiric. It would be very thematic.
No, it's Heart's Draw. It's actually Druid.
There you go.
Would there possibly
let
be
druids
any
eat
Witchfinders in Harmony?
I don't try not to let anyone bite me if I can.
Don't let the Druids eat you. If the Druids eat you, they get synthetic with. By the way, don't let people eat you.
Yeah, just in general.
Location is thaumaturgy, right?
Locating is thaumaturgy. It's journeyman
Yeah.
thaumaturgy. It's one of the best reasons to get it.
And
Also-
thaumaturgist died.
Say, most of the people that you knew in Harmony are now refugees elsewhere, remember? So,
Mhm.
Well, a sorcerer, if they had a connection to you, could invade your mind. But which isn't the same as finding out where you are, but also helps. But yeah, no, we don't have anything. I mean, I don't even have tracking. I can't even navigate by smell. In any event, I fell in the water. So the next question we would have to ask is where Rodolfo. Rodolfo has a daughter who's like over there in a warm body. So she might know where he's going to head next. Rodolfo's a man of means, right? He's blooded and wealthy.
He's certainly wealthy. You can tell that much. He's not. He's not of the Lysemantu family, but yeah.
Now, Rodolfo's a bat from which family?
So he does not actually have a noble family. So I guess he's not blooded.
Okay. So he just has money. So he has a family that has money, which is fine. You can have money without title. But so his daughter's here. Well,
not technically his daughter. It's the Lysemantu daughter. So you've got Borneo, a stoat who's old and gray. His daughter, also a stoat, who is got like fluffy white fur.
So is she sweet? Is she sweet on Rodolfo?
That's a rumor going around town that there's something untoward happening there.
You could do worse than Rodolfo. He's got prospects. He's got money and the ability to enslave people's minds.
Sure. Like, what else do you
I'm
want?
sure the two are not related.
Who can say?
Who can say? You know, there's a reason those books are all written anonymously. If Rodolfo has money, then he has an estate. We're in Averdapod, right?
Oh, currently you guys are in the Doloro territory.
Oh,
You're
Doloro.
on like the
That's
borders.
Yeah,
but
we like cross the river a little bit.
Well, if Rodolfo
still on this side of the river.
You're on
That's
this side of the
important.
river.
Yeah,
It's just that they consider this side of the river their territory.
and
Yeah,
who
it's
did Rodolfo
foggy here.
attempt to ensorcel at the party?
A Borneo, who is the head of the Lesemontu family, vassals to the Doloro.
And Lysimantu are subordinates to the Doloro, right? They
Yes,
submit
yep.
to Doloro rule. Okay. Well, the first thing we could do is we have witnesses at the party. We could put an arrest out for Rodolfo, or someone could. Connor is the one to propose it since he actually has title. We're just random people off the street. To arrest Rodolfo for the crime of ensorcelment, which is a recognizable crime in a fantasy world. And that would have the Doloro seize his estates. Basically, they would, prevent him from using his gift of wealth.
Indeed.
Or somewhat. If he has streetwise connections or insider with the Cognoscente, he might have other routes. He's apparently part of a conspiracy, whoever Y and N are. Yeah, but I think putting the warrant, if we can get that out for his arrest, that'll make our job somewhat easier. I mean, Rodolfo apparently, if he's not dead, would be a slippery character indeed.
Just to clarify, wasn't it Y and R?
No, it was Y and N.
Okay.
As in
Not R.
As in yes and no.
N as
no,
in not.
as in
not.
not.
Not R.
As in not R. There you go.
Mhm.
Yep.
What was our the shit? What was the name of the father of the estate here that Connor has ingratiated himself into with?
Borneo.
Borneo.
Right.
That
And I
might be
guess
our
given-
next lead.
What species
They're
is
right in the
Borneo?
room here.
Sorry?
What species was Borneo?
Stoat. We're using the weasel stat block for
I was really
now,
hoping
but-
Borneo was a boar. Borneo the
know,
boar.
right?
On the nose.
Yeah.
They call him
snout.
Bori.
But I guess just to add to add what I'm thinking, if Rodolfo has in fact escaped, it's possibly likely he would meet up with his associates at this well-known location where they're organizing. And of course, it would probably be our duty to threaten their organization at this point, wouldn't it?
God, I hope they're members of the syndicate.
So Borneo is overhearing this, and basically he's saying that, like, oh, you can be assured that a sizable bounty will be placed on the head of that fiend Rodolfo if he does survive. If this attack on Egberg is indeed something that he is involved with, this is a Vordepois territory. I have no real influence there, nor does it overly concern me. Unless you think that you'll be able to recover him from this location, in which case you have my full support in going there. But no, I intend to find the villain one way or another, and yeah. So yes, a bounty is going to be placed on this guy for certain. And as he says this, she's aghast. She's hand to mouth. Father, you wouldn't. He's been so good to us. What is wrong with you? You can't do this. I won't let you. And she storms out of the room.
Interesting. The fact that Rodolfo is ensorceling her father, maybe she's in on it if she's so upset, in not that kind of way.
Maybe
Way
she
to
just
respect
resents her
somebody.
authority.
Maybe she's got
I
daddy
suppose.
issues.
I suppose, my lord, I'll say, turning to Borneo, how exactly did he come to your estate?
Oh, my daughter. As this knight is any indication, she likes to collect intellectuals. She thinks that she's part of this new wave of learned nobility, and Rodolfo was one of the many charismatic fops that worms his way and try to worm his way into wealth and power through such contacts. So I was foolish to allow her any contact with this individual, but what can I say? I have many important business matters to attend to. I can't look after my entire flock. I can't look after my entire family moments to moment, and she seemed that she was doing all right. So it is I am to blame at the end of this, which is why I will be taking care of it. You need not worry about my daughter. As I said, we will have a discussion about this later.
Yes.
Yeah, even though we've committed crimes, we'll handle this in our own family. No reason to involve law.
Yeah. No. This is probably incredibly embarrassing as well. I mean, as embarrassing as it would be to have an advisor who turned on you, having one that like literally mind controlled you is even worse. Because it's just, especially in a public way.
I invited everyone to the cotillion, and then a wizard showed up and tried to dominate their minds. That's all anyone ever talks about anymore.
Exactly. On the other hand, too, though, it's impossible to know what B's true feelings are, but I imagine that she probably would already be like, hey, he's just using you for your money, girl. But the fact that he's a mind controller is also not great. That's not going to make that conversation any easier. Yeah.
It's kind of like just using you for your mind. We don't know that. Well, he's a sorcerer, so yes, we do know that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that is one of the major reasons to become a sorcerer, to just get money. You can just ask people to give it to you, and then they do.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they do.
So, wow, a conspiracy of sorcerers. And we're in Doloro domain, too, which means investigating this, we have no authority to look into this, because we're just... not only are we not authorized by the Doloro, but our authority apparently comes from the Church of Salmer, who have almost no dominion in Doloro territory, because it's not even the state religion here.
It's true.
But, we are so out of our domain. Why are we this far from home again?
Well, you're not actually that far from home. You're less than a day's hike back to Harmony. This is this kind of like weird border type situation where the borders are fuzzy and the towns change hands a lot. Not this town, because it's the seat of
another country. So
yeah, for all intents and purposes.
Saying, Berlin is only a day's hike away from the border of France.
Exactly. It's one of those types of scenarios. But yes, the way that you guys got in town in the first place was due to Connor pulling rank on the guards who just really didn't want to deal with it. And to be frank, we're actually just sort of fishing for bribes, which they didn't end up getting. But you guys are kind of out of your jurisdiction here to begin with. Luckily, Egberg, I have invented this town, which lies on the road between, if we look at the map, between Honet and Elogi. I placed a marker and then didn't. Hold on a moment. To the token layer. So I placed another little red square here on the map, indicating the location of this. It's not a large town, but it is one of the location of one of the standing signal towers, and anyone who is native to the Avoirdupois would know of it.
Well, with all this information, I'm wondering exactly what we could do. Were we given jurisdiction over just this case with Rodolfo, or are we kind of stuck waiting for the Lord Borneo to get his estate seized?
So Borneo says that he's gonna place a bounty. He's gonna send his messengers to all the nearby towns in Doloro territory, and basically, if this guy is alive, someone's gonna find him. But he also says that you guys did him a great service. If you are interested in if you could return Rodolfo to him, if you're the ones that find him, that he would be greatly indebted to you, and he's willing to extend some of his influence in the Doloro territory to you. He would give you a writ of
Basically,
conscription
get
or
a
something.
letter of recommendation, I think.
There
is
you
what
go.
they call it in the book.
Exactly. He can give you a letter of recommendation that might you guys moving through the Doloro territory. And if you have some place in Doloro lands that you want to investigate, he could definitely arrange passage for you to that location. So he's being very yeah. The fact that this has all happened, everyone's a little bit shook up, but you guys have risen in his estimation to the point where he's willing to help you out. He's still not willing to admit that maybe he's not like pulling troops back from the border or anything like that. He's not making peace with the Avoirdupois just yet, but he's willing to help you out.
I just put that letter of recommendation in my equipment list.
Cool.
Right. So he's basically handling things on this side of the border, and Connor, you have full authority on the other side of the border as a blooded noble to kind of execute this as far as you wish to go.
Right, and that letter lets us work only so far as in our goal being to find Rodolfo, but we apparently I think that would allow us to operate in the Doloro domain as well. Like I said, as long as that's all we're doing, and we're not trying to get up to any funny business.
Yeah, you should understand that currently, politics between the two are still pretty shaky. So
we've got to be very open with what we're doing when we're there, and not
or very closed off and private and secretive. Although it's been established that Harmon is not interested in doing secretive things or disguising his allegiances. So open might be the best policy.
All right, then. So, Connor, I suppose given all this information, what should we be doing?
Do we know where his estate is? If so, we could maybe try to either catch up to him, because he will be flying there pretty fast if he did fly there.
You could. Well, I mean, you can ask about it. You can. Borneo doesn't know a whole lot about Rodolfo. Really, B is the one who knows everything. She is currently stormed from the room. But he says, to the best of his knowledge, he was a. He was not a noble of Triskellion, but basically, like, he made his wealth in Triskellion, and he assumes that he lives somewhere. His hometown is the city of Triskellion.
That's a bit out of our reach, because technically, at least Connor has declared war against Triskellion. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
I was about to say, like, oh, did something happen?
Right, I wasn't there.
Well, that's where the king is, and the king tried to have Connor killed. So that got the raccoon up in ire.
Mm-hmm.
So unless we do some kind of secret mission there, which we, once again, because we can't put a tabard on Harmon to cover the armor's crest. Not sure what we can do here. Yeah, Connor's not above asking for advice, so. maybe we can all talk about this and see what we come up with here.
Well, since we don't know precisely where his estate may or may not be, if he even has one, because of course he's not a landed noble, he's merely rich. As I said, my suspicion is he would have gone to his associates. Now that he's been had here, of course.
Right. But where would they be?
Oh, sorry. I think the doctor is to Eggerberg.
Eggerberg.
I can repeat some important passages from the letter. Let's see.
Thank you for taking my shitty memory and whatnot.
No, do not beat yourself up. I tend to throw a lot of information at people. If I was really good at what I do, I would have. In fact, I could do this right here. I can paste this into the chat somewhere.
If you're really good at what you do, you would have some sort of GM locator place website thing where people could find you.
Oh, yeah, right.
You'd also know that URL off the top of your head to give yourself a quick plug mid-game.
You know what? It's embarrassing, but I should know that URL off the top of my head. But maybe I'll pull it up. In the meantime, I have posted the full contents of the letter from Y. And the passage in particular, we are currently staged at the nearest hideout to Eggerberg. It is considerably less defensible, but so far we have had no unwanted visitors. I will include directions in case you wish to see to this matter in person. And indeed, there are directions attached to the letter that describe a forest hideout, not unlike those that you had been raiding when you were following the rat bandits outside of Harmony.
Right.
Because I should remember, I've been looking for things just like that to latch onto and say, there, that's an actionable thing. And then, of course, it didn't work. So thank you. And I guess we should prepare for a journey.
All right. I'm okay. I will say, as you guys are reaching this decision, one of the Boar militiamen, the guards that have you've seen posted around the party, he rushes into the room and he says, "My lord Borneo, your daughter, she's missing. She locked herself in the room and refused to open the doors. We eventually decided to break the handle. We heard sounds of shifting furniture. When we made it inside, the window had been thrown open and she seems to have fled the estate. There's no sign of her anywhere on the premises." And Borneo, he shakes his head and he offers a curse to some deity you are not familiar with. And he says, this does not bode well. This child is far too willful. And he turns to you and says, "My eternal apologies. You have seen much of my many things tonight that bring shame to my family's name, and I appreciate your discretion. I must."
We will have it, and we will try to return your daughter to you unharmed if we find her in good health. Oh, forget I said that part. I'm sorry. Once again,
the doctor will just put a hand on your shoulder and just give it a pat and say absolutely nothing.
I love it because you always start so, and then you end on such like a, oh my god.
So, I'm sorry.
Don't do that. It's great. I really like it. It's like it's almost like a character trait or like a personality quirk of Connor at this point. But no, yeah. He looks like almost slightly relieved, but he says, "Yeah, if you would find her discreetly, I would be forever in your debt. And if you'd like to add, returning B. Lesemontieu to her father as a goal, you're welcome to do so."
Okay. So I guess just to go over goals, what goals in total do we have right now? Just so I got them correct here.
As I imagine, it should be 3. Should be sending a message to the Syndicate, which is an old goal that was picked up by Harmon, helping out import traders on the coast of the Vortipois lands from this foreign syndicate that is basically harassing them. Then there's also deal with Rodolfo, which does have problems in its vagueness, but essentially is shorthand for find him, kill him, or determine that he has actually died.
Chauvin tournament is what I got for that one. And now we have return Bia to her father.
Indeed.
Okay, good. All set.
I'll say it one more time. New goal.
The last one?
Yeah, the new one.
The new one is return B to her father. Parentheses discreetly, I guess.
Well, I suppose before she gets too far, we may as well get on that chase.
I realize that a lot of the situations you guys are getting into involve tracking people, and I feel bad because I don't think you have a very tracking people geared.
Well, I guess as been clarified, we do have 2 people who do have searching.
There you go. That's definitely the skill that you would be using, right? So that is something.
So we could go ahead and do that again. Anushka could go ahead and assist me this time, because apparently when I described it, I had 2d6 skill dice, not the total dice I had. So I will go ahead and do the main roll, and Anushka can assist me.
Gotcha. But before you do, I gotta ask. So, where are we performing this search? Is this a search of the premises, her room, the estate, the town?
This is going to be where she just jumped out the window, down on the ground, and starting from there.
Gotcha.
I have the sense of smell.
So, yeah, I'll let you roll your species die with that as you do your investigation in the room.
Okay. Yeah, just look around, find something, grab that, and start following the scent. So let's do it. So just on my own, 2 beautiful ones, but 2 successes without further assistance. If that be enough, I've done it. Otherwise, Anushka can give me a hand.
All right. And do you have a favorite use for searching yet?
Not yet, no.
All right. Then for the sake of those watching, when ones in this game, if you have every skill can have 1 favored use, and if you 1 while using that skill for your favored use, you can re-roll that die if you'd like. If you don't have a favored use and 1 situation comes up, you're allowed to basically make 1 up on the spot. After that, it costs 1 experience point, but you can change your favored use going forward. So if you'd like to find track nobles' daughters as your favorite use for this, but you probably don't. But
hunting
if you
down the nobility, yes, it's all been in preparation for this day. I think 2 should probably give me the trail of a child who's just running away, right?
Certainly.
She's not like expertly covering her tracks or anything here.
No. In fact, the scene that you find in the room is incredibly clumsy. It looks like the bed sheets tied and not tied particularly well, but luckily it was like, it was only a 2nd floor room, and there's like, a balcony or something. So but so I will also say though, with 2 successes, do you get a sniff, you get a scent that you can track. It's quite obvious that she did leave the room, but there's another strange odor that catches your nose as you are poking around here, coming from a chest of sorts, like a wardrobe. And as you poke around, you find something interesting. There are a series of small vials of a sky blue clear liquid, a potion of sorts. You find 4 of them, and you can see that they have been labeled, and on the label there is a sort of a scratchy penmanship, a scrawl on it. And it's a word that you do not recognize. But it sounds clinical. It sounds like maybe the name of a plant or an herb.
Well,
fact,
I am, of course, a doctor, and if this is a bunch of
Sure.
medicine, then it almost seems like I've walked straight into my expertise.
That's very true. It's not one of the common herbs or medicines that you'd come across. So let's have an academics roll. Be mind in academics.
Okay. And of course, I would ask, hey, what about doctor or medicine in this case? Well, I guess
And-
medicine is the technical one to work with.
I think medicine definitely, right?
Yeah, and
that gives you a
just
bonus
to
D12 then?
Yep, bonus D12 when dealing with people in medicine.
All right, you want a 4 or more.
That is 3 successes. I know my stuff. This blue mysterious liquid, probably not safe to drink.
Probably not. In fact, not only do you recall the name of this strange herb, but you realize what it is that you're holding. You had read about certain potions that were not common to Calabria that had been brewed in order to. It's basically a type of toxin that was developed to sedate and subdue people. It's kind of like a calming medication, but you had heard that it had been used in instances of mind control and hypnosis.
Right, render someone's mind weaker-willed and then strike.
Quite.
I wonder if perhaps she's been learning magic. But I don't find any evidence of that, do I?
You don't find any evidence of that, and I will say that these labels have been written in an unrefined hand, so it's very unlikely that she was the one who wrote them. It looks like someone who probably does not have a really strong grasp of Calabres. The letters are sort of blocky and maybe kind of clumsy.
Right. I guess, what should I write this down as?
Write it down as
Calming
oh
medicine?
boy. Calming medicine? Yeah. Because certainly it was probably invented for that purpose.
Okay. So I will go ahead and take that on my person for now, so that is out of general hands.
All right.
And then follow the scent.
And then follow the scent. So you probably don't want to climb down the bed sheets because it doesn't look like they're going to hold up too much. But when you get
I'll take the stairs, thank you.
stairs, yeah. When you get out front, it seems that there's a path through. There's sort of like a garden curated, and as you follow the garden, you can find that there is a section of the wall that appears to be unguarded, and there is a hole in the wall into this estate, just large enough for a person of your size to uncomfortably slip through there, Doctor. And it seems like this path will lead you back down into the town proper. And as you follow it, you find yourself back in Tuskdun, on the streets of Tuskdun. Seems to be a rather lively place at night. All of the nocturnal animals are out doing their business, but also the tavern, the fort tavern that you guys had investigated earlier, is in full swing. You can hear bawdy music coming from it. And you begin to lose the trail once you hit the center of town. The scents are just intermingled with just the general BO of a full town of laborers, day and night laborers.
Okay. So yeah, so there's plenty of stuff going down, and hopefully there's not at least too many tracks going across hers as she mingles into the city and completely disappears.
Yes, at this point, it's going to be really hard to track her by scent.
Mhm.
Well, I suppose she probably has some sort of elegant perfume.
She was
but-
just at a party specifically for herself. She didn't dress up? Gee.
No, that's true. Yeah. That's a good point. So definitely it's the perfume that you've been tracking to this point. But you kind of lose it in the haze, so you might have to get a little bit closer before it's going to be noticeable again.
Right. At this point, we may as well start asking people, hey, did you happen to see the rich daughter of your lord running through your city, having a good time.
Having a good time. Yeah, that would be gossip.
Right,
I
and
assume
I
everyone's
don't
kind of
have much
traveling in
of
a group
that.
here. Okay.
Anushka, would you like to roll gossip for us?
Oh no, did we lose Anushka? We might have.
Uh-oh.
Yep, he did say might have to go.
Might have to leave at a moment's notice. All right. Well, I have
And-
Anushka's sheet, or I have a sheet for Anushka. I don't believe that Rafferty had been leveling her in gossip, but since this pertains to the situation, why don't I roll for Anushka? Because yeah, I think that makes the most sense in this circumstance. This is kind of where she shine. Does anyone want to try to assist her in this?
You know what? I will go ahead and give an assistance.
I will try
I'll-
to assist with negotiation to get them to open up about it. Like they may not want to speak about the daughter of the Lord, but it's for her best interest. Trying to.
Right. If I take the same tact, I give Anushka a D8.
Okay. So you guys are trying to get people to open up a little bit about this.
At least I watch.
Yeah, Connor, you just kind of come off as like very authoritarian and abrasive, which is harshing the buzz of the members of the Fort Tavern. But
Connor,
what
you
about
can't just
Potter?
end every sentence with "or else"
Right?
But what about Potter?
or else.
This would be a great time to have a bard. However, I assume that you guys left Sly Flora back at the party.
I assume she's not up for a sudden adventure hunting down wizards and lost children.
I mean, you didn't ask, but
Yeah.
it's safe to assume.
You just
Potter's
crawled out of a
only,
window after all.
I know you guys exited the party.
Potter's only social skill is presence, so that wouldn't work too well.
It just rolls one die. You always just rolls one die.
And that one die tends to be a 1. So, all right. Okay, well, that will give Anushka 1 bonus on her roll. So it looks like it's going to be a D4, a D6, and a D8 with that bonus. So let's do it. Boom, boom, boom. All right, 2 successes. So it takes you a while. No one says that they have seen any member of the Lycée family. Certainly not anyone who is dressed up for a dinner party. People here are dressed up for a town party, which is considerably less fancy. But you do find someone at the bar who said that they caught there was a person who was bundled head to toe in robes as if it was the middle of winter, and they thought they caught a glimpse of snow white fur, and a slender hand who was asking for money changing at the bar. Apparently, they were trying to change a dinar for a handful of the orichalks, the copper coins.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, as this person went over to inquire more about them, they fled the bar without even waiting to receive the payment, the change, and said that was quite strange. By their voice, they sounded young and attractive. Seems weird they would cover themselves up so. Said that he chased them out into the street, and it looked like they were running south towards basically towards the medicinal district, where you have the apothecary and the makeshift hospital, right? That services the town.
Right. I sense we understand where she's going now. So this is good. Anushka, I think now that we are well invited into the city and on good terms, maybe you should send a message to Harmon so he can come here in case there's terrible danger.
Okay.
I'm going to continue following this trail, and I will wait patiently over in this district if she's there.
Do we know where Harmon is?
Should be outside the city. He said he wasn't going to go far. In fact,
Yeah.
he was hanging out with some woman there who apparently has
Somewhere
a house nearby.
Somewhere outside the city. Well, Harmon is quite visible from the air.
Mhm.
I'm sure this will take no time at all.
Hey man, if anyone could find him. You're gonna search?
Sorry, I deliver messages to 2 other giant mules. Who knew?
All right. Well, it'll be a searching roll. You do have a general idea. Armin, I imagine, would say something, but I guess you guys really haven't had contact up to that point. Currently, we know out of character that Harmon is set up a camp in the woods by the road. So I imagine he's probably got a fire going. It wouldn't be impossible to find him. But let's roll and see how you do.
Deliberately doing anything to make himself findable.
That is a good question. And currently, we're missing Theta. If I had to guess, I would say no. If he was here, he would probably say no.
Well, even without any assist bonuses, I have 3 successes. I will find him.
Oh, you will find him. And you find him in pretty good time, too.
Evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
That's a good roll.
Yeah. That is a stellar roll. You probably find him in the very first place you look for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Am I to retrieve him or just give him the message?
Oh, I mean,
probably to retrieve him.
All right, yeah. So I'll fetch him and say we need to go back to town.
Cool. We'll pick that up once Theta gets back, because who knows? Theta has a tendency to go left when you expect him to go right, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, what are the rest of you guys going to do? Are you going to wait for the 2 of them to return?
Well, I mean, I'm going to continue to search, and then I'll wait for them. I'm not going to run into danger if I can.
All right. Well, let's say you pick up the trail, the scent of this heady perfume that Bee wears out on the road towards this medicine district, I guess, of the town. And it seems to be concentrated the strongest out front of this apothecary. This is the apothecary that has this strange sign hanging out front with the sort of arachnid visage carved into it. And you would bet, any money that you had to bet, that she had gone in here recently. However, the interior of this place is dark.
Right. So I think probably I could identify. She probably hasn't left there yet, which is also good. So if she's inside a building and hasn't left, then as long as I keep an eye on the building and note kind of like, oh, here's a door here and here's a door here, I can kind of keep an eye on it until, say, Harmon and Ishka arrive. Or Sir Connor, it could just be you and me.
We'll wait for Harmon to come by. Depends how long that'll take.
Okay. Well, then you and I can keep an eye on the building, and I can't imagine there's more than 2 doors here.
There's really only 2 doors. There's the main front entrance, which at the back there's a smaller room. It's hard to the door at the back, again, you're using your sniffer to sniff these individuals out. The door at the back has this almost overwhelming scent of medicinal herbs, many of which you are familiar with, but you do not catch any of this distinctive perfume in the bouquet. Welcome back, Theta. So Theta, Anushka had been dispatched to find Harmon in the woods and get him here to assist in the chase, and she found him. Seriously rolled a 6, an 8, and a 12 on a D68 and D12. So found him in 5 minutes essentially, and has expressed to him that that the rest of the group needs his skills.
Okay.
So will you return with Anushka
and Leonard?
Yep.
And then Louis, right? Who was it? Sorry, Connor's scout, right?
Yeah, well, I've never had his name right to begin with, so that's why I just make it up every time.
You just make up names. Nice.
Bless you.
Yeah. God bless. He is he's kind of he's grumpy. But he says oh, finally, I didn't I could really after a day of camping out, I could use some good wine. So yeah. Louis is on board for returning to the town.
if you're looking for good wine, if you consider it the Weirdo Swamp Witch, I have flyers.
Yeah, making those connections.
Wait, you didn't drop all the flyers?
I keep finding them.
Kept a flyer. There you go.
In trash bins, in outhouses.
Why are they
toilet
not
paper.
soaking wet?
You're so honorable recycling like that.
There are some soaking wet. I mean, there are some soaking wet, obviously, because I fell in the lake.
Yeah, they should all be
There
soaking
you go.
wet.
No, you just find them lying around. They're just blowing in the breeze.
You should have just
I mean,
one
literally,
giant mush of a flyer that you don't want to touch because you'll ruin it.
Mm,
So, yeah. So I guess we're walking back to town. Good thing Harmon takes big strides.
yeah, for every one step Harmon takes, you have to do 2.5. So keeping pace with him is a little bit of a pain unless you decide to just
Well,
fly.
Louis can fly.
Can he?
Yeah.
I thought he's a raccoon.
Raccoon.
Oh, I
Raccoon
thought you
can't
sent
fly.
him with me because he could fly back and forth if need be.
No, I sent him with you because in case you decided to run off and fight an entire army or something like that, if you needed to tell us where you were, you could send Louis back to us.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess Louis is our slowest person, so we'll travel as fast as Louis.
It's no big deal.
Poor Louis. He's like, I happen to be the fastest scout in my unit. Grumble, grumble.
3d6.
Okay. Sorry, just pulling up some notes here. All right, so Harmon, Anushka, and Louis, you guys find yourselves in the town of Tuskdun. The guards try to give you a hard time, but you've been given this letter of recommendation, right, by Borneo, and they let you in without any other word, just sort of like a humph and a grumble. And Anushka, you lead them to the spot where Connor and the doctor are currently waiting, staking out this dark and seemingly closed apothecary shop. Above the door of the apothecary shop is the word apothecary carved into a sign, and sort of a strange visage that looked rather arachnid.
No, yeah, I was here when you described it the first
You
time.
got that one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I would just assume that a spider lives here. I can't read. And
I mean, yeah, that's
the
the
only
thing.
reason
It's
to
an
have
assumption.
a picture. The only reason to have a picture is to advertise to people that can't read. So people who can't read just think a spider lives here. I guess I have no idea why you would put a spider on the.
Yeah, I don't know
Well, it's a
what
distinctive landmark. Who
You
else
think
has
that
the spider
order-
picture?
kind of pestle, but here we are at the spider shop.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps there's a mortar and pestle on the door or something. I don't know, but yeah,
Pretty word
it's
of mouth. It's not like maybe they're one of those apothecaries who's cool. They only want people in the know.
only
Is it
people
a
in the
one-story
know.
shop?
It is a one-story shop. Yeah.
How many windows?
You got 3 windows to choose from. All of them are boarded though.
All of them
They don't have
front facing.
glass.
How many are
No, there's
front
one
side?
front facing, and the other 2 are on the sides.
Is this a building that's paired up against another building, or is it individual, standing out by itself?
No, there are alleyways. There's buildings on either side, so there's alleyways on either side. Although the back of the building is open.
And only
and
one
there's-
entrance, or is it an entrance to the back too?
2 entrances, 1 main entrance, and there's a smaller door in the back.
Right, no alleyway entrances.
That's correct.
And it doesn't seem to have some sort of cellar entrance either.
No.
An abandoned apothecary shop. Isn't there a landlord who owns this?
Also, Anushka flew.
I didn't say abandoned, just closed,
Also,
dark inside.
Anushka flew away from here, so assumably Anushka had a roof view for a moment, and there's no roof access.
Correct.
Probably not. I mean, there'd be a roof with a chimney on it, and I wouldn't be able to get in that. I'm not Santa Claus.
Well, I don't know if it was a steepled roof or a flat top roof or whatever.
I'm guessing if it's an apothecary 3-story building, it's got to be steepled.
1 story.
That'd be
Say 1
steepled.
story, or did I
That's 1
already-
story though.
Yeah, I was saying.
No, you asked that in one
I have
story. It's not a very
I've
large
asked
shop.
many questions
Oh,
where I've heard
is
the
it?
answer and gotten it wrong still. So I just want to make sure that
Okay,
my mind isn't.
I mean, if you want to get in, that door's not going to stop us.
No, I know. I just want to make sure the entire tactical situation first before I get sent in after a small child for some reason.
Okay, I'm going to go
We're
hang out on the roof.
Say
because
we're such a nerd crew that a small girl ran away. Quick, go get Harmon.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go hang out.
Exactly.
I'll
Only
go-
you have the strength to wrestle a small girl.
Yeah. Said
I'll
4
go hang out
guys
on the
to
roof.
another guy.
Oh man.
So
Okay.
Anushka's hanging out
Rafferty.
onto the roof. Connor, what are we doing?
Connor can
You two-
post up. his
So you
group
two
in
should
front
go
of
to the back door,
to the back
and I will
door.
handle the front door.
Yeah.
I will kick
Okay.
in the front door,
Well, I have a
drive
crew
her
with me,
back,
so I can
and should she run
care of
into
the
your
back.
arms?
Okay, that's a plan.
Sorry, I was pausing to let Arcloid repeat what he just
Yeah,
said, since I literally just talked over you.
Yeah, I was just gonna have Connor and crew post up at the back door, kind of just make a semicircle of people.
How many of your crew are still with us?
3: Louis, Raphael, and Remy.
Maybe have the 3 in the front in case she gets around me somehow, and then you two, as player characters, stay in the back.
Okay, that works.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I kick in the front door.
Cool. Real quick before we do that, Rafferty, Anushka, what's your species sense? Is it hearing?
Oh, it's listen. I have the ears of a bat.
Right, and that would make sense because that works with the echolocation too. All right. Can I get a mind and observation roll, please?
With our luck, they rigged their one to one side of the door frame and a piece of steel to the other to light a grenade.
Yep. Not
Those are-
only do I have the ears of a bat, but observation you get with being a messenger.
Nice. All right. So you pick up the faint, but maybe this like echoes up the chimney or something. But you can hear that there is a conversation happening beneath your feet in the house. It's certainly B. You've heard her speak before. The other voice is kind of hushed and harsh and whispery. You can't really make out what it is saying, but she's saying like, "Surely you know where he is. Surely."
Oh, hey, I want to wave down to the people downstairs and say, "Hey, there's 2 people inside. I can hear them."
Okay. Don't call me Shirley.
Surely. So there's 2 people inside.
All right. As you say this, you can hear this bee kind of cuts off what she's saying. It's quite possible that she heard you. And they know we're here. All right.
I'm not gonna skip a beat, and they know we're here.
Beautiful. At that, I guess we're all waiting on Harmon, right? Are you going to make the first move?
Yeah, no, I was kicking the door in.
Right, cool. Kicking the door in. So this will be it's not a super sturdy door, and it just kind of like caves under your hoof with the loud bang and crack of splintered wood. The interior of this place is quite dark, and it's difficult to see, but you can make out that there are shelves on either side of the room that have a bunch of glass and clay tinctures and bottles that sort of reflect what little light there is in here. And you can see that behind a counter there's a door leading into a back room that is currently closed. Yeah, and that's pretty much everything. I'd say you can hear that there's some commotion in the room beyond.
I mean, I'll head that way. So the back room is what you're saying.
Yeah. So the room that you're in is empty. There's a room in the back, and you can hear people moving around in it.
Yeah, I'll go that way. I mean, I am a
Okay.
blind fighter after all. I assume I have some sort of ability to recognize what's around me. It's not like echolocation or anything, but
Right, probably. Okay, so here's what happens as you're approaching that door at the back door of the apothecary, where the rest of the party minus Anushka are hanging out. The door opens. It's dark inside. It creaks open, and Connor, as your men sort of like ready themselves to catch whoever jumps out, there is a small rock ball rolls out of the door. You can see a tiny little fuse and a flicker, and then there's an incredibly loud bang and a blinding light. So everyone out back, Anushka, you're on the roof. You probably see this, but aren't going to be affected by it. But I would like everybody to roll a resistance. It will be speed and endurance, and if any of you guys have danger sense, you can roll that as well. Harmon, you maybe see like light appearing under the door as you're about to like bust that door down as well, but you don't have to roll for this.
So they're throwing it out the back, correct?
You're throwing it at the back door, so I think this would be the doctor, Connor, and all of Connor's goons.
no, Connor's goons are in the
Goons
front.
were in the front, yeah.
Oh, he's in the front. I misunderstood that.
No, Connor's goons are in the front. Connor's in the back.
So yeah, so just Connor and the doctor then.
All right, and you said the roll was will and...
Speed, endurance, and if you have danger sense, you can use that as well.
Well, don't have any of that, so here's my speed. One
Okay.
success.
This is rolling against a D6, 2D8. All right, and that's 2 successes. Okay, and Connor, you also rolled as well, and you had 1 success. Okay, so both of you guys are blinded by this flashbang grenade, essentially. Blind lasts for 5 minutes normally, unless it's cured by other means.
Right, and I don't think it can rally away blindness, so, gosh, no.
The light. Okay, so Harmon, you can see this explosion from under the door. Sorry?
You may want to check that, because there's a lot of things white magic can take care of with a simple rally.
Sure, I'll go ahead and, take a look.
I think he was saying that he thinks that rally doesn't work while he's blinded. I don't know if blinded is a condition that affects your,
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's not one that I listed down from previous research.
It's definitely, there's like the range penalty with rally.
Well,
but,
I was thinking, you were thinking, Griff, what, Sound of Mind? I can't remember what it's called, where the things where you can't rally.
Yeah, no, opposite here. Just hey, I don't think I can make it go away, is all.
All right.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, let's see. So yeah. So the two of you guys are blinded. Harmon, you're gonna kick down the second door.
Yeah.
When you do, you are in a back room of the apothecary, and it's basically like, it's like a science lab essentially. There's roots and stuff hanging, drying from the rafters. There's all these pots, mortars, pestles. An entire chemistry lab back here, and your nostrils are assaulted by the smell of the place, which is almost overwhelming. But you can see out through the back door that there is the small robed figure that is most certainly this girl, B, and she's accompanied by a hulking insectoid creature, not a spider, however. It appears to have large dangerous looking pincers and a wickedly barbed tail. It is also wrapped in a cloak, and it is scuttling behind her, making her look small by comparison. And the two of them are currently dipping past Connor and the doctor, who are rubbing their eyes blurrily and reaching around, obviously blinded by whatever that explosion was.
Stop where you are.
That's a stunt. Roll.
No, I'm not doing it as a stunt. I'm just shouting it out loud.
Oh, okay. You're just shouting it. All right.
They have
They pay you no heed.
Say they don't have to respond to me. I'm just shouting it out and running forwards.
All right. I like it. Okay. I feel like you could probably easily outpace them. So rather, and I.
Well, how big is this room?
Oh, the room that you're in now is not especially big. Let's say like 4 paces by 4 paces.
4 paces.
They're out
'Cause
the
I
door
can,
though. They're
say,
like
yeah, I can dash 6, so I can already get 2 paces out the door on a normal move.
there you go. Yeah, exactly. So like
7
I think you
paces
probably could
technically, 'cause I
catch
can
up
add
with.
stride to that. So I could literally be
Yeah.
right on his back.
Right now I'm trying to determine if we want to like transition into combat, but I don't know if it's going to last that long.
So
So
if it's
here's
combat,
what I'm thinking.
I can roll initiative. I could have a possibility of focus, which would be a third action.
Right, yeah, and then there's no chance whatsoever. Since we've been handling this outside of combat, I'm going to say that what happens is it's quite clear that you could outpace them. The Scorpion is going to turn, and he has a crossbow, and he'd be able to get a shot off at you. So if you are going to chase him, he's going to roll back, but after that, you'd be on him.
Do it.
Yep. Okay, let's do it. He's not particularly skilled with this, although 2d8 is not nothing. So here it comes. 2d8 as a crossbow bolt whizzes towards you. We got a 5 and an 8.
Actually, just a quick thought. Maybe I should roll initiative because I would have a chance to get focus again, which would give me the opportunity to guard.
Oh yeah,
And
okay.
I do have
and roll
danger
for
sense.
initiative.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
so I would be guarding. See, I didn't even think about it until my
Cool.
own macro thing popped up. It's like guarding. It's like, I would be if I had the opportunity.
Right? Yeah, no, that was smart.
Nah, but you still got me on there. The D8. I dodge. Do I have a favorite use of dodge? It's probably
8.
dodge.
Projectiles.
Dodge. No, my favorite use of dodge is melee for some stupid ass reason. So you shot me.
I got you.
How much
All right.
damage?
Okay, so it's a crossbow. It's damage +2, and it's got 2 reload. So, yep.
I've soaked it.
Ooh, you soaked it. All right. So yeah, it probably like maybe it even like lodges in your arm or something like that, but doesn't touch flesh, and you're good. And then you're on top of this thing. The Scorpion kind of like falls back, and it's hissing, and you can see that it has several pairs of insectoid limbs. 2 of them are holding this. The 2 main ones are holding this crossbow, but the others are grabbing at pouches that are located over its body, and apparently it has a number of tiny vials of different colored liquids, and it's searching for the right one. But by the time you close the distance, it has not found it.
Stop
and
resisting, or I will kill you. Not an intimidation, not a scare stunt, just a statement of fact.
Just a statement of fact. Well,
people can choose to believe me, or they can choose to not believe me. I'm leaving that on them. I'm not making a roll. I'm just saying words out loud.
All right, yeah. Well, I think he's going to choose to believe you in this situation. You are quite imposing, and it's obvious that he at least cannot outrun you. Meanwhile, though, B is on her. I got cat interference. B has sort of like. Oh no. B is still running for it. So this is a situation where she's probably going to get a couple paces away. I hope you guys don't mind. Can we call a quick break here?
Yeah, your cat?
Okay.
I'm getting cat interference.
I saw the giant cattail go across the camera.
Yeah. She's
Dramatic interference. A cat stomps into the village.